were so important, just practical. When you're in a fucked up place like that, all the nice things people say are just insulting. Like, "Hey man, you'll be okay." Fuck you, no, I
get
won't.
through it.
The point is, no, I won't. You asshole. The only thing that means anything is practical advice. Is like, hey, here's something that I've been there, and here's something that makes it easier.
What did he say?
And he
did he say?
It doesn't matter.
Well, he said,
well,
it's
interesting. It matters. Maybe it'll help someone else out there.
He said, I'm going to cheat on Bonnie all the time. No, he said to me that he is two things that were important to me. First, he said that his biggest goal was to maintain a good relationship with his ex. Like that, it was really important to him to do whatever it took to stay amicable with her. And he said, now Bonnie and I have a baby, and she babysits tonight so I can have a date night. That's how that paid off, and that his two girls are now grown, and that they share them, and that they feel good between their two parents. So that's what he said. This is like, it's hard, but if you do it, here's what can happen. Like, there's a fucking future.
Rich, who told you this?
Yeah, this was amazing. I'm sitting there,
like,
and then I said, and then I'm asking questions. I'm like, I had been divorced for a while, and I said I dated for a bit, and I didn't want to anymore. Like, I didn't want to keep going out and trying to get laid. I didn't like that part of it. Like, I just didn't. I was like, had a lot going on. And I said, but that feels like I'm worried that I'm like reclusing myself by. And he said, fuck getting laid. You got a career and you got two kids. For right now, that can be enough. Like, he gave me. It said it's okay not to get laid sometimes. As a man, you feel like you got to get pussy wherever it's available. But sometimes it's okay to take a breath and actually just be a father and a professional, whatever you are. And it left me off the hook. This shit meant a lot to me.
Wow.
Wow,
and
look at that
I
shit,
sit here
Rich.
and I will insult him.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what
for other
comics
people's
we're supposed to
entertainment.
insult.
But no,
Well,
I'm grateful to Rich Voss.
Here's the
I
thing,
got a
when
lot of
you
support
get-
from unusual places during
When you
that
get
time.
when you get divorced, and you know this,
Well, yeah.
you know,
I had no kids, though.
Well,
Yeah.
I had no kids, though.
Yeah,
so.
that's not even. That's just a financial
But
fleecing.
yeah,
That's,
it
that's
also-
just fucking extortion.
it's the same. It's the same.
Exactly.
It's the same as in recovery. If you quit drinking and doing drugs, and you start gambling, you're only transferring addictions, and you're not dealing with quitting drinking and drugs.
Right.
If you're going through a divorce and you just start fucking whatever you can, it's just burying the pain in here, and you're jerking off in some.
Yeah,
girl.
you're not actually.
That's all you're doing.
That's why I think the problem with a lot of people now is that they're just consumers. They just want to consume and shit, and they don't think about like, well, I actually need to do something to make myself feel better. You know what I mean? Like, I actually have to take a breath.
Like a locust in a pussy field. You just got to kind of run your way through it and eat it and consume it, and then.
I don't know if that's what we're saying.
I think that's the. I think that's the opposite of what he's trying to say.
I do what you do. I just shove it all down.
Oh, just
We can
tamp
see.
it down.
It's terrible,
and it's-
man.
No,
it's-
you're
Tamp
making
that
yourself
emotion
ready
down.
for your first marriage.
And
It's all gonna fucking unspool like a Chinese food container full of maggots in the middle of your marriage. Yeah.
My parents, we talked about all this shit. When my parents were fucking divorced, and they didn't have any knowledge back then. This is fucking 49 years ago.
The bosses of now.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
and you turn it. Here's the thing. You know, we've
Your
talked
parents
about-
were shitty toward
they're
each
fucking-
other,
they would
using the
set
kids.
the kids up.
Right.
To to go at each other.
lot
you
of
know,
people
fuck.
do that.
And it's
That's unbelievable
ridiculous.
to me.
It's fucking ridiculous because in the end you end up doing crack and bad radio shows. It's not fucking worth it.
And also, I think the basic thing is it's like people just are narcissists because the thing that's supposed to happen when you have kids is that they just become more important than you. And it's not like you do it painfully. You just feel it. You just go, the kid matters more. So you would never do if you're that kind of person. Then when you get in an altercation with another person, you don't put your fucking kid in the middle of it to preserve yourself or to hurt someone else. That's insane.
Pretty fucked up, but a lot of people do it, like you
They're
said.
fucked up. Anybody,
Fucked
any
up.
parent that keeps their fucking kids from the other parent, those are the ones that should lose their kids. Okay.
Well, here's what some people say, and it's true. If you have a kid and you're divorced and you say bad shit about the other kids, the kid's other parent, you are criticizing 50% of the kid.
Yes.
The kid, a kid, especially a kid who's a child, they are made up of two people, and they identify with a man and a woman, their mother and father. So if you say your father's a piece of shit or your mother's a whore, the person's going to feel that in themselves. They're going to take that in. So it's not a stranger. It's their fucking mom, you idiot.
I was 100% a piece of shit then, because my parents just would call each other horrid things. Oh, right in front of the kids too.
Right. Oh, listen,
it was wonderful.
Hey, when you're in the marriage, everybody's in the same house.
Yeah,
this shit goes on.
But look what they gave birth to. There should be fights.
I know.
Well, they made you
they
shower
told me
together.
it was never my fault. They told me, now we're getting divorced.
That's not your fault.
Or they didn't even use that word. They were like, Daddy's living somewhere else. It's not your fault. And it's like, I didn't think it was. Now I'm starting to, though, because you're trying to tell me it's not.
Yeah, you've just put that thought in my head.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Is it my fault?
I see you two yelling all the time about shit that doesn't even concern me.
Right. Yeah,
Dad's
it's
drunk.
suspicious.
Fucking, he's not working.
It's suspicious. Come to my house. I promise I'm not going to rape you.
Yeah. Oh.
Why are you saying that?
I would never. I would never.
That's why I love comedy. Like my parents, when I was in second grade, it was nothing but fighting. Where's Dad? This and that. So I'd come home from school.
Your last
and I
year
would
of
put
school.
fucking Von Meter album on and just listen to it every day and sit and laugh and forget, and
What
just
album?
watch comics. Von Meter.
Who's Von Meter?
He did the Kennedy impressions. He was great. He had the biggest fucking career.
That's what salved you in your sad family was Kennedy and was
Back when I
Von
was in
Meter.
second grade, man.
Oh my
Him and Alan
God.
King. I'm sorry.
Hey, we got to go to the
went from
Lincoln
parking-
bathroom and have a Lincoln log. Oh, go ahead and fuck me now, Dad. It's fine. I heard a lampooning of 2 presidents ago.
Oh, yeah. When my parents
and you
died
can
in
get
that plane crash, I'll tell you, Rich Little.
Rich Little's Nixon.
he took me out of
He
it.
just
died?
raised me like the
No.
Phoenix from the flames.
Who wouldn't laugh at that? Yeah.
I thought they died. I don't know.
No, my parents, I'm adopted.
That's why I
My
thought they
parents are
died
alive.
in a plane crash.
I don't know. My real parents might be dead. I have no fucking idea. I
Yeah,
never met
on
them.
9/11.
Oh, jeez.
Jesus. Christ.
Oh, jeez.
Wow, that's-
So your parents,
That's a little racist.
Oh my God.
you're Arab, and your parents now are white that adopted you.
I'm half, by blood, I'm half Arab and half Egyptian, and my
Wow.
adoptive parents are 100% Italian.
Jesus Christ, how far
That
down
is-
the list do they have to go to get an Arab? I mean, how many?
Not that far.
Even black kids first.
You can get
You can get 2 black kids for 1 Arab.
trying to get like if you want to adopt a white kid, you got to wait online. However, if you want to adopt an Asian or an Arab, that is like the fucking bargain bin. Look at these.
Right to the front of the lines. Right.
Oh, it's a bit. Yeah, trying to get a white kid's like trying to get a Harley. Fucking awful.
You guys come with a TV.
I don't think life is that important. It's just not. It is not. People get too excited about life. Oh, life, fuck you. It's not that. It's. Make a list of every shitty thing ever that's in life. Life is okay. I like life. I like it. I don't need it. I'd be fine without it. I like life, though. I do. You know how much I like life? I have never killed myself. That's how much I like it. That's exactly how much I like it, with a razor-thin margin. I like it precisely enough to not kill myself. It's an option, though. It's totally an option. I mean, I'm 49. I have 2 kids. I've flipped through the brochure a few times. I've thought of killing myself just to win an argument. You're not supposed to talk about suicide, even to your shrink. You ever go to a shrink and they're like, have you had thoughts of suicide? And you're like, no, because if I say yes, you'll press a button and folks will run in and hold them down. But you should be able to talk about it. It's the whole, the whole world is just made of people who didn't kill themselves today. That's who's here. Is all of us that went, okay, I'll fucking keep doing it. It's because it's an interesting thing about life. Life can get very difficult, very sad, very upsetting, but you don't have to do it. You really don't have to do it. You don't have to do anything. You never have to do anything because you can kill yourself. If they send you a letter from motor vehicles, you have to come in and, no, I don't. I'll kill myself. You can do that. You can do that once. But you can do it. And it's interesting because even when life gets bad, people generally choose it over nothing. Even the worst versions of life. Even a shitty, shitty life is worth living, apparently. Because folks are living the fuck out of them. You ever seen somebody and you're like, how did he should kill himself? Why didn't he not? That dude. You ever been driving and you look in the next car and you're like, oh shit. I wish I hadn't looked in that car. That was difficult to glance at, let alone being it. Just a guy in a tan car. Nobody chooses tan. Nobody picks tan for their car. They give you tan. Is that mine? Yeah, it's yours, fucking loser. Made it tan. They shouldn't even make tan cars. It's mean to make them. You look over, you see a guy in a tan car with just dents all over it and a garbage bag for a window. What is holding up his suicide? What is delaying it? What is keeping him from stopping being that? And what would it take? What would it take? What would it take? Both windows are garbage bags? Is that... Seriously, do you know how much misery is involved in a garbage bag for a window? Do you know how many separate moments of shit misery? I canceled my insurance. Broke my window. Duct tape. Here's the truth. Running away will not solve your problems. That's totally true. But killing yourself solves all your problems. It actually does. It even solves world problems. For you. What about ISIS? Kill yourself. Then they'll never get you. Seriously, if everybody who's afraid of ISIS kills themselves right now, then ISIS loses. Because they live in a world of people that don't give a shit. We're gonna cut his head off. Okay. It's not fun now. I think the worst part of being beheaded is... The worst thing about being beheaded is that you look really dumb right after. That's the worst part. They go like that, and you're like... Just that's fucking dopey. I don't think they like beheading bald people because they can't do this thing. That's the best part. They gotta go like this. It's not as cool. So just shave the top of your head and you won't have to worry about it.
Overweight people deal with things that none of us deal with, because I'm not overweight. There's people who are discriminated against because of their weight. I read a story once about a woman who's 600 pounds and she couldn't get medical care because everything she goes to the doctor, he just says it's because she's fat, everything. She's like, my knees hurt. He's like, yeah, my knees hurt just looking at you. What did you think was going to happen? She's like, I have chest pains. He says, yeah, because your organs are over capacity, so they're hurting. She's like, I got shot in the head. He's like, yeah, because you're fucking fat. Somebody shot you in the fucking head because you're fat. Here's the worst part of the story, and this is true. This is true. She needed an MRI because she had something serious. She's 600 pounds. She doesn't fit in the machine. You know what they did? They sent her to the zoo. I'm not kidding. They sent her to the fucking zoo. That's what we do for fat people who need an MRI. Hey, here's your prescription. Go to the zoo. Yeah, that's where you should go. You should go to the zoo. By the way, you know how many fat people we have in this country? About 600 trillion billion thousands of them. You know how many trans people there are? About 38. But if you're trans and you need a restroom and it's awkward, we'll change every restroom. But if you're fat and you need an MRI, you go to the zoo, you fat bitch. Just go to the zoo. You go experience that today. What happens when she gets to the zoo? What actually fucking happens when she arrives at the zoo? Are you here to see the monkeys? No, I'm here for an MRI. Oh, shit. All right. Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay, just stand in the straw over here. Yeah. You're after the walrus who has lymphoma. By the way, why is there an MRI machine at the fucking zoo? Who was developing that instead of a fat human being MRI? Who's paying for this shit? You don't give an elephant a fucking magnetic resonance image test. What are you, fucking high? That's obscene. If an elephant is sick, you just listen. You do this thing. Misa thinks she's gonna die today. I'm saying this out of respect for elephants, by the way, because we're supposed to respect how they live. They don't fucking cure their diseases. This is not their culture. This is our weird. Let's fix it. Oh, he's sick. That's not how elephants live. An elephant in the Serengeti isn't like, I have a lump, I have to see my oncologist. When an elephant gets cancer, he falls over and he takes his fucking turn and becomes food. You don't put an elephant in a state-of-the-art... What if you find cancer? What, are you gonna give him chemotherapy? The skinny elephant with a pink baseball hat? Each day is a gift.
I hope somebody does that for you someday. It's a very nice thing. I hope you had a good day. That's about all I could do about it is hope. I had a pretty good day. I went out shopping for some things I needed, and now I don't need them because I got them. I got a white noise machine. Do you know what those are, a white noise machine? It's a machine that helps white people sleep at night. Because you shouldn't be able to. I'm hungry. I'm a little hungry. I mean, I feel hungry. I think that's what... Americans shouldn't say, I'm hungry. They should say, I feel hungry. If you ate today, you shouldn't say, I'm hungry. Hunger's a real thing. I don't have third world hunger. I have first world hunger. I would like a donut. Some people say I'm starving. That's offensive. I am starving. I haven't eaten since 2. I'm starving. Don't say that. Because some people are starving, and they don't say it. You never see a little kid in Africa with his ribs showing. He's like, I am starving right now. I'm like literally starving to death. It's like annoying. I have 2 kids. I went to my daughter's play the other day. I don't know if you have kids, but there is no more joyful feeling in the human experience than when a child's play is over. It's just, nothing feels that good when you can say, I am not watching that any longer. Every second my daughter's on stage, I can't breathe because I'm so proud of her, but this is a bad show. They worked really hard and it didn't make it good. I'm glad I'm raising girls though, because boys are. I don't like boys. I don't like. That's probably a good thing to say. I don't like boys. I don't think women are better than men, but I do think that men are worse than women. You know, we just have. Like, I was talking to my friend, and he said his girlfriend's mad at him. I said, "What happened?" He goes, "Well, I guess I said something, and then she got her feelings hurt." Such a weird way to phrase it. She got her feelings hurt. I said something, and then could you more remove yourself from responsibility? She got her feelings hurt. It's like saying, yeah, I shot this guy in the face, and then I guess he got himself murdered. I don't know what happened. He leaned into it. I didn't know. I've never been murdered. I'm going to die someday. I accept that. I don't know what happens afterwards. Some people say you go to heaven. I'm totally going to heaven. I'm going to by the way, this is the only voice I know how to do. I'm totally going to heaven. It's the only voice I have. I can't, like, do impressions. Like, this is my impression of the president. I'm the first black president. I'm, like, literally the first black president. Do you guys think there's a heaven? If you believe you're going to heaven, clap if you think you're going to heaven. You think you're going to heaven?
Yes.
Really? How old are you?
21.
21, and you're a lock for heaven already. You already got it. Been a grown-up for 3 years. You couldn't possibly make a mistake. Well, good luck. Personally, I don't think there's a heaven. I think maybe there's a God, but there's no heaven. I think that's the best news you're going to get. You die, and you're like, hey, God. And he's like, yep. And you're like, where's heaven? And he's like, I don't know who's telling people that. But I'm supposed to make a universe and then another whole amazing place for afterwards? You guys are greedy dicks down there. Well, where do I go? Just stand in this room with me now. I don't like it. Tell me about it. I've been here since 1983. Or whenever. I don't know when God started, but... I'm not religious. I don't know if there's a God. That's all I can say, honestly, is I don't know. Some people think that they know that there isn't. That's a weird thing to think you can know. Yeah, there's no God. Are you sure? Yeah, no, there's no God. How do you know? Because I didn't see him. How do you... There's a vast universe you can see for about 100 yards when there's not a building in the way. How could you possibly... Did you look everywhere? Did you look in the downstairs bathroom? Where have you looked so far? No, I didn't see him yet. I haven't seen 12 Years a Slave yet. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I'm waiting until it comes on cable. I think if there is a God, I don't know if it's the one in the Bible, because that's a weird story. He's our Father, and we're his children. That's it. Our Father who art in heaven. Where's our mother? What happened to our mom? What did he do to our mom? Something happened. Somewhere in heaven there's a porch with a dead lady under it, and I want this story. Somebody's got to check the trunk of God's car for bleach and rope and fibers. Well, how can we not have a mother? At least maybe God's divorced. Maybe he has an ex-wife. God's a single dad, and he's raising us alone, and we're praying like, and he's like, I'm trying, it's just me up here. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe your life is your time. This is our weekend with Dad. That's what life is your weekend. And then when you die, you go to Mom's house. It makes sense that God would be a woman, doesn't it? Because you're raised by your mom. I think the reason we made God a man in our cultures is because we want to make sense of the fact that men are in charge. Because otherwise it doesn't really make any sense. Because women, you start with the woman. It's the thing people like to ask, like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Of course it's the egg. Because you can't just make a chicken. You can't just go chicken. You got to start with an egg and grow chicken. And then people say, oh, well, where did the egg come from? From a chicken, you idiot. Women birthed us, women raised us, so why aren't they running things? I think I know why. I think it's because millions of years ago, women were in charge, and they were mean, they were horrible. They made us walk around naked, and they'd laugh at you, and they'd flick your penis when you walk by. They were awful. But what could you do? It's your mom and her friends. Like, what could you possibly do about it? And then one guy punched his mom, and we were like, we can hit them! And then we did the whole thing. But that's why men are mean to women today, because we're terrified of them. That's why we didn't give women the vote till 1920. Women didn't get the vote in this country. That means American democracy is 94 years old. There are 3 people in my building older than American democracy. That's how women have had a rough time. It was so okay to beat your wife until so recently. that today we have a kind of shirt named after it. There's a piece of clothing in our culture affectionately nicknamed after beating the crap out of your wife. And for some reason, this is offensive to nobody. I saw a woman on Good Morning America or something. She's like, I was walking around my house and a wife beater. I'm like, stop saying it like it's not horrible. I'm just wearing a wife beater and child murder shorts. And I'm like, stop it. We have a great show. Sam Smith is here. So stick around. We'll be right back.
I love animals. I do. I do. We have a weird relationship to animals. We name them and we play with them and we kill them and we eat them and we stuff them and we draw them. I have a dog. I love my dog, but I don't know my dog. We've never had a conversation. Not one time. I talk and she just hears She looks at me and I'm like, yes. She's like, what? You don't know what the fuck I'm thinking. Fuck you. I don't know this bitch. I have no idea what she's thinking. I really wish I did. I wish I knew what she was thinking. It's my biggest wish maybe in life is that I knew, because I know she has thoughts. I know she does. There's no way she's just like, dog. There's stuff going on in here. I've seen it. You ever watch your dog make a decision? You ever watch your dog just walk in the room and then look around like... Yeah, I'm gonna go over here. Why? Please tell me why. I think my dog thinks I'm insane. Because I look at my life through her eyes. Like, I'll watch TV for 4 hours. And from my dog's point of view, I'm just sitting there. Why the fuck is he laughing? What happened? My dog is my life now because my kids are grown up. My kids are in college and they're all, you know, I'm an empty nester. That's what you call it when your kids are gone, because they grew up, not if they're dead. It's not used that way. My daughter died of leukemia. Hey, you're an empty nester. I miss it. I miss having little kids. I think about it all the time. I think about it maybe adopting, you know? I could adopt a baby from a third world country. That's a good thing to do, because you can just leave them outside. You don't have to... You know, it's interesting. We've been adopting babies from other countries in America for a long time. You know, other countries do it too, but I live here, so I'll talk about that. But it's an interesting thing. It's not a biological imperative to go get a baby from thousands of miles away, but we've been doing that in large numbers here for a long time. And not always for the same reasons. There's been different reasons why we've done it. In the early, like in the 70s when I grew up, sometimes you meet a couple who had an African baby that they brought because they're those kind of, you know, these kinds of people, you know. The kind of couples that hold hands when they announce things. You know those kind of people? They gather their friends and they're like, we've decided. You know those? They have a farm table with a clay pot of honey on it. And their apple juice is cloudy. You know what I'm talking about? Those are the kind of people that make a trip to Zimbabwe and get a baby and name him Kevin and send him to Boston College, whatever. That was like the 70s and 80s. Then in the 90s, it became very popular with gay couples started to adopt babies from China because they want to have a baby, but they can't. They both have dicks. I don't know if you know that. Did you know that? Gay couples have 2 dicks. so they can't make a baby. You can try. You can just really fucking. You could try to come into one dick with the other, like if you line up the dick holes, and you can come and the sperm goes up this dick and down that one. And then the sperm gets to the balls and they're like, wait, what the fuck? Did we turn around? Because we're in the balls again. Whose balls are these? These aren't even his balls. Oh, he's gay. Fuck. All right. Okay. All right. Well, let's just swim around till we're dead. It's just the way it is. You're not gonna. A baby will never come out of a penis. It's good. It's a good thing because it's hard for women. Imagine pushing a whole baby out of your penis dick hole. Even just a hand. Yeah. Anyway, so that's why gay couples adopt. That's why. And often from China, because they make a lot of stuff there. So that was that. That was the gay couples were adopting Chinese babies because they couldn't have babies, and then a lot of other couples started doing it more around the turn of the century. I used to live in Hollywood, which is a pretty awful place, and everybody there gets Chinese babies. It's very popular. They go and it's not because they can't have babies, and it's not because they're trying to help somebody from far away. It's because they're just busy. They're busy. They want to have a baby, but they don't want to have a baby. You know what I mean? That thing where you can't have your baby and eat it too, or whatever. I don't know how that works. They don't want to get pregnant, is the point. So they go to China. They don't even go to China. They go to the airport, and somebody from China meets them, gives them a baby. It's true. They just take it home, and then they get a Jamaican nanny to watch their Chinese baby. And they go to cocktail parties. We have a Chinese baby. It's amazing. And meanwhile, the Chinese baby and the Jamaican nanny are just alone looking at each other like, what are we doing? What is it? What is this? Why can't either of us see our families? Why? What the fuck is the point of this?
Everybody has a competition in their brain of good thoughts and bad thoughts. Hopefully the good thoughts win. For me, I always have both. I have like the thing I believe, the good thing. That's the thing I believe. And then there's this thing. And I don't believe it, but it is there. It's always this thing and then this thing. It's become a category in my brain that I call, of course, but maybe. I'll give you an example. Okay, like of course, children who have nut allergies need to be protected. Of course. We have to segregate their food from nuts, have their medication available at all times, and anybody who manufactures or serves food needs to be aware of deadly nut allergies. Of course. But maybe if touching a nut kills you, you're supposed to die. Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. Jesus. I have a nephew who has that. I'd be devastated if something happened to him. But maybe, if we all just do this for 1 year, we're done with nut allergies forever. No, of course not. Of course, if you're fighting for your country and you get shot or hurt, it's a terrible tragedy. Of course. Of course. But maybe if you pick up a gun and go to another country and you get shot, it's not that weird. Maybe if you get shot by the dude you were just shooting at, it's a tiny bit your fault. Of course, slavery is the worst thing that ever happened. Listen, you all clapped for dead kids with the nuts. For kids dying from nuts, you applauded. So you're in this with me now. Do you understand? You don't get to cherry pick. Those kids did nothing to you. Of course, slavery is the worst thing that ever happened. Of course it is. Every time it's happened. Black people in America, Jews in Egypt, every time a whole race of people has been enslaved, it's a terrible, horrible thing. Of course. But maybe every incredible human achievement in history was done with slaves. Every single thing where you go, how did they build those pyramids? They just threw human death and suffering at them until they were finished. How did we traverse the nation with a railroad so quickly? We just threw Chinese people in caves and blew them up and didn't give a shit what happened to them. There's no end to what you can do when you don't give a fuck about particular people. You can do anything. That's where human greatness comes from, is that we're shitty people, that we fuck others over. Even today, how do we have this amazing microtechnology? Because the factory where they're making these, they jump off the fucking roof because it's a nightmare in there. You really have a choice. You can have candles and horses and be a little kinder to each other, or let someone suffer immeasurably far away just so you can leave a mean comment on YouTube while you're taking a shit.
And I know it's upsetting because, look, here's the thing. The Boy Scouts is a wonderful thing for kids. They go to the woods. They work together. They learn skills. They get in touch with nature. What could it be better for a boy than that? But some of those guys want to fuck the kids. I don't think they do it a lot. It's not like there's just a shitload of kids being fucked in the Boy Scouts. I think it's mostly that they find out that the guy wants to. I don't actually know, though. I don't. Do you know why I don't know? Because I'm afraid to look it up. I'll go to prison for typing it into a Google. How do you solve a problem if you're afraid to fucking look it up? How many Boy Scouts get fucked on it? Oh, shit. Every time I move, I gotta tell my neighbors that I looked that up. Here's what happens. Every few years you find out there's some pedophile type people in the Boy Scouts, and then they announce, we got them all. We're good. And then a year later, well, there's a bunch more. What's going on here? At some point, you got to wake up to the basic fact that maybe the people who are best suited to give your kids these wonderful experiences are folks that want to fuck them. Maybe that's why they're good at it. Maybe that's, if you want that, that's where you go. Maybe that's just the way that goes. Who else would want to take a bunch of kids to the fucking woods? Who wants to take your shit kid to the fucking woods? You don't want to take them. Who else would want to do that except people that are barely containing that they want to fuck every kid in the face? That's why they're good at it. That's what makes them good at it. I'm not saying that all Scoutmasters are pedophiles. I might be saying that the best ones are. I might be saying that. That sounds right. So I don't know. You have to lose the whole thing. Just tell your kids. Some of those guys want to fuck you. Just be careful. Have a good time. Take the contribution from where it comes. Michael Jackson, wonderful music. Blessed us with wonderful music. Did some other things too. Look, what's worse? A pedophile who makes beautiful music or one that doesn't? This is the choices. No pedophiles is not on the menu. So how have you all been enjoying living the way I already was for a couple of years before it all started? Welcome to my life. Can't work, can't go outside, can't show your face, gotta wash your groceries. Because I got cum on the groceries. That's why in my mind, that's what it means. Maybe that's what you were thinking, but. I live in New York City, and it's okay there. I live in a nice building. I never lived in a nice place before. When I was growing up, I had no money. I mean, my mom didn't. Didn't matter. I was a child. But I'm not used to it because it's nice. There's like a pretty courtyard with flowers and a fountain with little marble boys pissing. I don't know. What is it with fountains? Like, all fountain sculptors are pedophiles, basically. You can't get a fountain made without... Can you make me a fountain? Yes, I'll get started right away. Oh, yes! Yes! It's finished! And it's just little boys pissing on the face of a Greek god that looks like him a lot. Piss on me forever! Anyway, there's one of those in the courtyard of my building. And my first week in the building about a year ago, I went down to the courtyard for the first time. And I didn't look too good, you know? It was a Sunday morning. That's my least presentable hour. There's a lot of, you know, just stains, just like, you know, food and me and whatever. And so I'm sitting there. So, shut up. Oh. Anyway, but so there I was. I'm sitting on the stone bench of this courtyard and feeling a little out of place. You know, there's these fancy doormen and stuff. And then there's this guy looking at me. I notice he's looking at me from across the courtyard. And he's all spiffy looking. He's got brown shoes and he's looking at me like, I could tell he was thinking I don't live in the building. He thinks I just wandered in off the street and sat in the courtyard. I could tell he's thinking of coming over and dealing with me on his own. And I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, please do that. Yes, please, come on. And I'm trying to look even more gross. And I'm like, pulling up my shirt. And then I see him go, oh, no, that's not going to do at all. And he comes over to me. And I'm like, I'm so excited to have this thing. The confrontation where I'm not wrong at all. And he thinks I am. So he comes over, says, excuse me, do you live in this building? And I said, no. Because why not start there? I said, no. He goes, well, then what are you doing here? And I said, I just need to rest. I'm having a hard time. He says, this is private property. And I said, well, I don't really believe in that. You know, just the worst things I could say from his point of view is basically all the things I was saying. And he goes, well, if you don't leave, I'm going to talk to the doorman. I was like, can I just stay like 5 more hours? So he's, no. And he goes over to the doorman. And I see him talking about me to the doorman like this. And then I see the doorman going, oh, no, that guy lives here. That's okay. And the look on his face, it was just so, it was this beautiful cocktail of anger and confusion. It's like I had invented a new way to hurt somebody's feelings. That's how excited I was. In the Jesus, like, okay, here's one. This is when he turned water into wine. This is his first miracle. This is John chapter 2, okay? Okay, and on the 3rd day, there was a wedding in Cana of Galilee. And the mother of Jesus was there. And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the wedding. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus saith unto him, they have no wine here. And Jesus saith unto her, woman, what have I to do with thee? Just life. Mary was a fucking alcoholic.
He took her to a wedding, and there's no fucking wine, Jesus! What am I supposed to do here without wine? And he's like, Mom! Don't! Anyway, you know the rest of the story is that Jesus, he's at the wedding, they had no wine. So Jesus went to the guy running the wedding, and he was like, look in the water barrel. Like that, like a close-up magician. Why don't you take a look? Maybe it's not the Red Queen. Go ahead, flip that card over. What do you think? Told him to look in the water barrel, and he looked, and it was wine. He had turned all their water into wine. Everybody rejoiced. Except the guy running the wedding was probably like, we did need some water. It's actually a bigger problem. I have a feeling a lot of his miracles were met with mixed. Like, oh, thanks. That's great, Jesus. Fuck. Like Lazarus. Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. And Jesus comes to town and he says, Lazarus, rise. And Lazarus comes out of the tomb like... And Lazarus' wife is like, are you fucking kidding me right now? But so here's the story though I want to read to you. This story, I've never seen it in a Jesus movie. This story is not in any movies about Jesus. And it's not, I never, until I sat and read this, I never heard this story. Because it's weird. This is...
Say, I'd like to be a better person. I would. I'd like to be a better person. And I think I'm getting worse as a person. Because as you get older, you start finding out, like, let me give you an example before I rented a car a couple of weeks ago in Los Angeles, had the car for a few days, and then when I went home, I had to drop the car at the rental place. You know, you gotta go to the rental place that's off the airport, give them the car, give them your thing with the mileage, you gotta get on a bus, and then go to your terminal and check in. I was late, and I was worried about missing my flight, so I knew I had no time to do any of that. So I never did this before, I just drove my car right to the terminal, and just left it there. And I got on the plane. And once I was on the plane and I had a little moment, I called Hertz and I said, hey, listen, your car is sitting out in front of Terminal 4 and the keys are in it. So that's where it is. And the guy was like, you can't do that. You have to return it to this location and then get... And I go, well, I didn't do that already. And now I'm leaving California. So if you want your car, you need to go to that place where it is. And he was like, oh, Jesus, man. All right, we'll get it. And that was the end of it. And I realized I could do this every time. Every time I rent a car, because of course they want you to do all that shit. But if you don't, they still want the car back. They're gonna send a dude. You could drive a car till you don't want it. Just get out of it while it's moving and just walk away. Well, I don't feel like being in that car any longer. Just call Hertz. Hi, your car is drifting into the intersection of 28th and Broadway. If you're interested, it's now your problem. But see, this is a terrible realization. Because you should act in a way that if everybody acted that way, things would work out. You should, because it would be mayhem if everybody was like that. And most people kind of don't care. Most people are very selfish. Most people don't give a shit what happens as long as they get to do their favorite thing. People don't even want to back off from their favorite thing. They won't even do their second favorite thing. Like, you ever seen somebody like they're at an intersection and they want to make a left, but they're in the all the way right lane because they messed up. So now okay, here's the guy. He's in the right lane, and there's a lot of cars, like 6th Avenue, like a lot of cars, and he wants to make that left. So what does he do? He just does it anyway. He just goes ahead and he just shoves his car through everybody's life without any... And everybody's honking and outraged, and you always see the guy go, I have to. There's no other possible thing I could do. What else could I do
except go up one more block and then go left and take 4 seconds. That's not my favorite way, though. That only meets 99% of my criteria. But I'm selfish. I would like to be a better person because I got kids, and I want to, pass on a better. But sometimes it's not clear what the right thing is to do. Like one time, I threw a candy wrapper on the street, and I didn't do it like yeah. I just take that shit straight. I did it because I was, like shaking. I wanted the candy. Anyway, I was with a friend who said to me, "You just littered on the street. Don't you care about the environment?" And I thought about it, and I said, "You know what? This isn't the environment. This is New York City. This is not the environment. This is where people live. New York City is not the environment. New York City is a giant piece of litter. It's like the giantest, next to Mexico City, the shittiest piece of litter in the world. Just a pussy, runny, smoking, stinking piece of litter. So if you have a piece of litter, what are you supposed to do with it? You should throw it on the pile of litter. Because if you don't, if you put it in a receptacle, then it gets collected, and it gets taken to a dump in a landfill, and then or it goes on a boat, and it goes out and gets dumped in the ocean, and some dolphin wears it as a hat on its face for 10 years, this hat that never dissolves on its face. Oh. Jesus. I mean, everything that we introduce to the world is shitty. Meaning white people. Because I really think that white people are from like another planet. Because when we came to America, it was so nice. It was just Indians, and they weren't even Indians. We called them that by accident, and we still call them that. Like we knew in a month that it wasn't Indians, but we just don't give a shit. We never correct it. We came here, they're like, hi, and we're like, hey, you're Indians, right? And they're like, no. No, this is India, right? No, it's not, it's totally other place. You're not Indians? No. Ah, you're Indians. You're Indians for hundreds of years after. We ruined everything here. This was it was just coast to coast, just green and brown and beautiful. And all the humans were just walking around with painted faces, just walking. And they'd be like, ooh, that looks yummy. And then they just eat from the ground. And then they'd sleep on the grass. And they'd wake up and they'd fuck. And then they'd go for a swim and do a little dance. That was the whole continent, was just folks doing that. I mean, there was people in Mexico cutting off kids' heads and rolling them down the pyramid stairs. But that's always going on. What are you gonna, you can't do a whole lot about that.